Yeah! Alright! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting, titillating, orgasmic edition of Radical Rock and Record Reviews. And I'm your host, Wild Ride bassist Mick Watkins. And tonight, guys, I'd like to take you on a little journey. I thought we'd try something a little different for the second episode of 2021. Now, guys, I want to go ahead and say that tonight, I spend most of my time, honestly, when I'm not jamming with the band, when I'm not hanging out with my son, when I'm not doing important shit as far as band, son, responsibilities, and everything else. When I have a moment to just sit down and chill out and watch TV or watch videos on my phone, you know what? Most people probably are watching things on Netflix and doing other things like that. You know what? Most of the time, I'm sitting here, right here on YouTube, watching videos of other creators, other fans of hard rock and heavy metal, and just music in general, cool music in general. And, one of the things that I find myself watching the most, and something that I find so fascinating, is people's videos on the latest purchases that they've made, either buying CDs or vinyl records or VHS tapes or cassettes and stuff, so I thought tonight that why not let me show you the things that I have bought over the past, let's say, month or so, since like after Christmas and stuff. So right here, I'd like to give a little shout out to some of the guys that have inspired me. I got a list right here. I got a list of some of the guys that have inspired me. These dudes, I watch their shows. Every episode these guys put up, even if I'm really not into the bands or the artists that these dudes talk about, I still watch every episode. And I love when they do these CD and vinyl updates. I don't know why, I just find it so freaking fascinating. So these dudes are what inspired me for the content of tonight's episode. So let me give them a little shout out. A little shout out! Yeah! All right, so you got my buddy from, I think, Saskatchewan, Canada. Darcy from Darcy 6 Strings and 9 Lives. Dude, every week, maybe once or twice a week, he does these CD vinyl updates. And I think I kind of stole the title from Darcy. I love Darcy. He's a great, he's really big into thrash and power metal and 80s traditional heavy metal, just heavy metal in general. So, Darcy, you're awesome. Got to give Darcy a shout out. Then I got to go to a younger dude. This guy just did a ranking of his favorite Kiss albums, which I loved. He did his top 20 Kiss albums. And the ranking the Kiss albums episode that this guy did, his #1 pick, actually all of his picks, especially his top 10, I found very interesting. And I'm talking about Bryce with Bryce Talks Metal, okay? Another dude. Keep it going, Bryce. You're awesome. Another person I want to talk about is Josh from the Flipside Vinyl community. He's always doing these vinyl updates. I know him and his son go out thrifting and stuff, and he's always finding just really killer additions to his vinyl collection that he has behind him. It's just like this massive wall of vinyl and just coolness, dude. It's so awesome. And he's like constantly doing these vinyl updates about things that are coming out in the next month or so, and he's helped me spend a lot of money on that, if you know what I mean. Because of him, I pre-ordered the new Skid Row debut album on vinyl. Can't wait for that to come in. So yeah, the Flipside Vinyl community with Josh, awesome. Love his episodes. And then last but not least, a buddy of mine, I just love his videos. I love his spirit. I love he's always drinking a beer on his episodes. He likes this show a lot, and I just love his taste of music. I think we've got a lot of things in common with liking a lot of 70s Kiss, Cheap Trick, Blue Oyster Cult, BOC, Uriah Heep, stuff like that. And I'm talking about Gary from Physical Format Rock and Roll. So, all 4 of those dudes have inspired tonight's episode of my latest totally excellent vinyl record CDs accusations. Is accusations the right word? I don't know. Tell me in the comment section down below if accusations was the correct word or not. But anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to those guys. You guys keep doing what you're doing, and you all inspire me. And hopefully in ways I can inspire you. Let's just keep this whole awesome community of rock and roll and heavy metal content creators rockin', yeah! So anyway, let's get down to it. This is the shit that I've picked up over the last couple months, either things I bought or things I've gotten as gifts from my girlfriend's awesome parents. Peony and Bill, once again, they're always finding me really cool stuff, and I want to thank them a whole lot. So yeah, if you're interested in what's spinning in the background, well, you see on my shirt right here, Blue Oyster Cult, one of my all-time favorite bands, a band that I've just been, over the last year or so, I've really been getting into them a lot more, and blah, 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 blah. In the background, I'm spinning their second album. I believe, what is this? 1973's Tyranny and Mutation. Really excellent album. So yeah, let's get down to the latest pickups, the latest vinyl and CD scores. There's also some cassette tapes too. So let's get down to the CDs, okay? This album I found used. This dude is one of my probably all-time favorite lead singers of one of my favorite bands. I'd definitely say probably a top 10 band for me, maybe. Definitely top 15 band. Talking about, I picked this up because I had his first 3 solo albums. You might know who I'm talking about. I had his first 3 solo albums, and I love those. Talking about Eat 'Em and Smile, Skyscraper, and A Little Ain't Enough. And I'd never heard this album. And I'd been meaning to maybe order it off of like Amazon or eBay or something. But I found it used at Louisville, Kentucky's premier greatest record shop. Used for $5. I'm talking about David Lee Roth's A Little Ain't Enough. Or shit. Sorry. Your Filthy Little Mouth. That's totally not A Little Ain't Enough. That's Your Filthy Little Mouth. I've listened to this maybe 2-3 times since I bought it. Gotta say that while I'm a huge fan of Diamond Dave, this album really did not do much for me at all. I was expecting, you know, by the title of it, the artwork, which is very kind of mid-90s looking. I was expecting this to be a really good sleazy rock and roll album, hard rock album. It's not. This album is very kind of jazzy, R&B, kind of big band show tune kind of stuff. Not saying it sucks, because it doesn't. This is a good album. But man, not really too big on Your Filthy Little Mouth. So yeah, I got this used for $5 at Better Days Records here in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay album. Okay album. All right. So this is one I picked up today. Me and my girlfriend Samantha, we were out riding around, enjoying stuff, doing stuff on our day off here in Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And we went to this thrift store here in Louisville called the White Elephant Gift Exchange. And I was hunting around. They had like this giant ass wall of used CDs. And most of them were kind of pop and country crap from the late 90s, early 2000s, which that stuff's cool if you dig it. It's not for me. But then I found this CD. And this is normally something that I'm not into at all. But I know back in the day, back in the year 2000, and kind of the right in the middle of the a scene that I've talked about on here that I just could not get into. The new metal scene of the late 90s, early 2000s. Korn and Limp Bizkit and Papa Roach and just all kinds of bands I just could not get into. This band came out, and I remember seeing their music video for Step Into the Light one morning on MTV whenever I was getting ready for school, or high school. And I remember really digging Step Into the Light. I mean, it kind of had like a little bit of an Alice in Chains kind of vibe, mixed with kind of like a little bit of, I don't know, they kind of had like a Alice in Chains vibe mixed with a little new metal. But they looked like they were trying to portray the image and the vibe of maybe like Guns N' Roses or Motley Crue or something. So anyway, I really dug their single Step Into the Light. And I still dig that song, even though this kind of music is not my style at all. But anyway, for $1.50, and I've never heard this album before, I couldn't help but pick this album up. And it's the debut album, and I believe the only album from the band Dust for Life from the year 2000. That was my freshman year of high school. Like I said, Step Into the Light is a pretty cool tune for that era, and I dig it. It didn't have any rapping in it, which I loved. It was just a straight up hard rock song, which back then was kind of hard to find bands like this. So I bought it for $1.50. This might blow chunks. It might blow dogs for quarters. I don't know. Or it might turn out to be a really good hidden gem from 21 years ago. But nonetheless, Dust for Life. Step into the light to find I'm not alone. Step into the light. Yeah, total Alice in Chains, little Lane Staley harmonies and shit. So yeah, Dust for Life, $1.50. Couldn't pass that up. And then, you know, going about the hype that I have for the brand new Accept album, German heavy metal masters Accept, and their new album that's called Too Mean to Die, which was supposed to come out January 15th, but because of COVID-19 got shelved until whatever it is, I think January 29th of this month. So yeah, I got pushed back 2 weeks. So you know what, getting in the mood for the new Accept, you know, I was kind of wanting to build up my Accept discography. And here are the Accept albums that I've never heard and that I don't have. And this is one that I know that I've heard about for years and years, that a lot of people say is the worst Accept album. And so, honestly, just after hearing that, I had to hear it. I was like, dude, I've got to go on Amazon.com and I got to buy Accept's 1989 classic. I don't know, that depends. But I got Eat the Heat. And this is after, 1989 Accept album. This is whenever Udo Dirkschneider was either left the band or was fired. I'm not sure. I think he quit Accept. And this is whenever Accept, they were trying to, I wouldn't call this album a sellout. Because they're still doing rock. They're still doing like hard rock with little hints of heavy metal in there. This is definitely a departure from the previous Accept albums like Metal Heart and Russian Roulette. This album has kind of got like, you hear like lots of 1989 hard rock influence in this. You hear lots of Accept. You still have those kind of deep German choruses. Generation Clash, you know, stuff like that. Dude, I love the song Love Sensation. It's my favorite track on this album. But I'm not gonna tell you too much about this because coming up here very soon in the next couple months, I'm feeling there might be an Accept album ranking coming from old Mick Watkins, otherwise known as Dick Twatkins, bassist to Wild Ride. So yeah, I picked this up, Eat the Heat. Never heard it. I can honestly tell you right now, the little spoiler for the Accept album ranking, I don't think this is their worst album. I really don't. I actually kind of like Eat the Heat. So there you go. That is the conclusion of my CD purchases over the last month or month and a half. And here's a little rabbit hole that I honestly did not want to fall down because it's kind of useless to me. But I was like, you know what? I am a purveyor of dead formats, all right? I'm a proud purveyor of dead media. I love dead media. I love nostalgia. I'm a very nostalgic person. I love CDs, which most people don't give a fuck about CDs anymore. I love vinyl, which vinyl's popular now. And hopefully that just continues to rise and rise and rise. But anyway, I digress. I'm a purveyor of dead media. I love shit that I grew up with. And this, whenever I first started getting into music back in the early 90s and stuff, really like big on my own, getting into stuff, this is the format that I first used on my little red and blue Tiger Electronics boombox. Cassettes. Yes, I went down the rabbit hole and I started getting cassettes. And, you know, I don't listen to them because, dude, whenever I switched over from cassettes to CDs, and like, I think I got my first CD player like in 1995. But whenever I switched over from cassettes to CDs, finally, I was so just enthralled and happy because I hated the sound of cassettes. But, you know, I like to collect cassettes now, and really I just display them, you know. I got a shelf in my kitchen, you know, and I just randomly just put out some tapes for everybody to gawk and look at when they come over, and they're good, you know, things to talk about, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, I've been falling down the rabbit hole of cassettes. Let's check out some of the ones that I picked up. And what's beauty about cassettes is, well, Kiss 1989's album, Hot in the Shade. The beauty thing about cassettes is they're cool to look at, they're cool to collect, and they're cheap as shit. There you go. But yeah, anyway, I picked up Kiss 1989's, definitely not a classic in my opinion. Hot in the Shade, pretty cool. You know, open it up. And, you know, it's got the neat little picture of the guys. Eric Carr, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, and Bruce Kulick lineup. I know that Bryce on Bryce Talks Metal had this album ranked pretty high, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, 1989's Hot in the Shade. Pick that up. Another album that I noticed he had ranked up really high. 1987? I should know this shit. 1987's Crazy Nights. Pretty decent album. I know this album gets shit on by a lot of Kiss fans as being the worst Kiss album of all time. But you know what? I gotta disagree. I don't think this is the worst Kiss album. And you will figure out my opinion on the Kiss albums and what my least favorite Kiss album is on the Kiss album ranking coming up later this year, which is scheduled for sometime this year. So yeah, Kiss 1987 Crazy Nights. Got this I think in the mail on Friday. This was in a lot. 2 cassette tapes for $10 on eBay, baby. I couldn't pass it up. One of my favorite albums of all fucking time, and I've talked about this quite a few times on Radical Rock and Record Reviews. 1989 classic from my boy Ace Frehley, my favorite guitar player of all time. 1989's classic Trouble Walking on cassette. Can't never have too many copies of Trouble Walking, boy. I got the cassette tape, I got the CD, I got the vinyl now. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. You take the little sleeve out, you know, that's all there is to it, just some lyrics. You know, and I believe like 1989, that was like the height. Like during like the height of cassette tapes, dude. Because I know like in the late 80s, early 90s, I know vinyl was starting to get phased out. And CDs were starting to come in really strong. But dude, cassette tapes were still selling amok too. So yeah, Ace Frehley's 1980 classic, his classic Trouble Walking. And then also in that lot was another album I love. Was it 1986? Megaforce Records classic. Ace Frehley, Frehley's Comet. Check it out. Another one. I got this lot for 2 cassette tapes for $10. Free shipping and handling. I thought that was a pretty good deal. What do you think about that? Ace Frehley, Trouble Walking. Ace Frehley, Frehley's Comet. Both cassettes. $10 on eBay. Couldn't pass it on. Let's see what, because I haven't even looked inside this. Okay, so yeah, you got that. Got the cool lyric booklet right there. And it's got awesome pictures of the band. You know, Anton Fig, Ace, John Regan, and Todd Howarth on lead vocals and guitar. So yeah, you know, and honestly, I will probably never listen to these. But like I said, I just like to collect them. And I like to display them. You know, I got a little shelf in the kitchen, like I said. Or, you know, here in the man cave, in the Mick cave, in the rock and roll palace, baby. I might get a shelf to display some of these cassette tapes. So yeah, check it out. So that is the conclusion of my CDs and cassette tapes. Now here's something that I'd like to talk to you guys about. Now, of course, these weren't around when I was a little kid. But I know some of you all that were, you know, kids and teenagers back in the late 70s, early 80s probably remember these. I know about these because I'm a Kiss fan. And these have kind of been part of the Kiss merchandise collecting explosion and experience forever. But yeah, does anybody remember Chew Bops? Check that out, Chew Bops. They were like these little mini record sleeves that had like little bubblegum records in them. Check it out, Chew Bops. So yeah, it's cool. So, you know, scouting around on eBay, which is one of my biggest weaknesses, eBay, dude. Oh, God. I spend too much fucking time and money on eBay. It's ridiculous. But I always get my bills paid and I keep up my responsibilities. But anyway, so yeah, I picked up these 2 of my favorite albums of all time and 2 of my favorite bands of all time. I picked up, check it out, Judas Priest Chew Bops. These are really cheap too, actually. So yeah, Judas Priest Chew Bop for British Steel. Check that out, pretty neat, pretty neat. And on the back of this one, it's got the lyrics to Living After Midnight. That's pretty neat. So yeah, I picked that up, and then this one was really cool. Love this. I had to buy this in a lot with the Charlie Daniels Band and some other ones. But I had to have it, dude, for only maybe $3 or $4. Blue Oyster Cult. Cultosaurus erectus. Check it out. It's pretty cool. Doesn't have the bubble gum inside of it or anymore. But, you know, I got the sleeves. And I'll probably put them in like a cool frame and display them. Now I'd like to get Rush Moving Pictures and Kiss Dynasty or Kiss Unmasked. And they also have one for Judas Priest, Point of Entry, which I love Point of Entry. A lot of people don't. But yeah, you got two 1980 classics. Judas Priest, British Still, and Cultosaurus erectus by Blue Oyster Cult. What's a Blue Oyster Cult kind of night, isn't it? It's always a Blue Oyster Cult night here in the Castle of Mick. So now, blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to the vinyl scores. I want to thank my girlfriend's awesome parents, Penny and Bill, for picking this one up for me. This is very cool. It's kind of been hard to find for me, actually. And I haven't been able to find it, but Penny and Bill scored it for me, and I thank you very much. This is the latest Whitesnake album from 2019, Flesh and Blood. Dude, in all honesty, I'm a really big Whitesnake fan. I think Whitesnake is so underrated, criminally underrated. I think they're one of the greatest bands to kind of come out of the late 70s, early 80s. And this album, dude, once again, later on this year, probably sometime, there will be a Whitesnake album ranking. I don't want to divulge too much into what I think about this because I don't want to ruin it. I still want to give you guys a little element of surprise. But yeah, I really, really dig Whitesnake's 2019 album, Flesh and Blood. I think it's incredible, and I think it does a really good job. Well, their last couple albums, Flesh and Blood, Forevermore, and Good to Be Bad, I think those new albums that they put out kind of they do a really good job at mixing the classic early to mid 80s bluesy Whitesnake, you know, with Mickey Moody and shit in them, and mixing that in with the 1987 Whitesnake, slip of the tongue, late 80s Whitesnake glam metal version. So yeah, Flesh and Blood. If you have not heard this, dude, check this album out. Listen to the song Shut Up and Kiss Me. It's got a really cool video. And dude, you know what? David Coverdale, after all these years, still the man. So Whitesnake, Flesh and Blood. So yeah, after the experience of AC/DC's mighty modern classic album, Power Up, you know, and also once again talking about this later on this year, probably coming up soon in the next month or so, it's going to be an AC/DC album ranking. And with that, I was like, dude, you know what? I need to complete my AC/DC vinyl collection. So nonetheless, I've been picking up some AC/DC albums I didn't have on vinyl. Bam! Was it 1976? I believe, yeah, 1976 debut album, international debut albums. High Voltage, great album, but we'll talk about this more in the AC/DC album ranking. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, from 1977's, oh boy, heavy, raw, chainsaw sounding guitar attack and the pumping, blood-curdling bass of Mark Evans, a very underrated bassist in my opinion. As a bass player, a really big influence on me. Also, I mean, Mark Evans and Cliff Williams, both. But yeah, dude. I overdose on you. Hell ain't a bad place to be. Notice I sang that in the Brian Johnson, the BJ voice. But it's all good. I go down, I go down, I go down. That's my Brian Bon Scott imitation. Admittedly, it's not as good as my Brian Johnson. So yeah, Let There Be Rock, you know, and both of these are the 2003 reissues. And they both come in these really cool kind of sleeves where it talks about the making of the album, you know, and it's got a cool essay, just all kinds of cool pictures. You know, they come in these sleeves and shit, I dropped it. So there's like the center ring, you know, bam. Very, very cool. So yeah, I got Let There Be Rock. I got High Voltage. And then I picked this one up because this is another hole in my AC/DC vinyl collection that I don't have. And I remember when this album came out, I remember my dad picked me up from school because I had to stay like after school and do this thing called ESS because I was a badass kid and I didn't do my schoolwork. Instead, I just goofed around writing chicks notes, flirting with girls, and getting high during lunchtime, smoking that old potch. smoking that pots, which I don't do anymore. Just saying, that was 20 years ago. Ooh. But anyway, yeah, I remember my dad picked me up from school that day after ESS, and we went to Target and bought this. The day it came out, AC/DC, Stiff Upper Lip. Pretty good album. Pretty good album. Not a classic. But once again, I'm going to save my opinion of this for the AC/DC ranking. More than likely coming up here in the next month. But it's got some very good tunes on it. I'm shutting up. So yeah, AC/DC, Stiff Upper Lip. This is another cool gift from Penny and Bill. Boy, this is one I told Penny because she asked me what I was looking for. And she's, like I said, you know, a couple episodes on the Christmas episode, she's really good at finding me things that I cannot find. Very hard things to find. I put this on my list, and boy, I think she found this in another state like Indiana or Tennessee or somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, I haven't been able to find this, and I can't find this for sale online. It's always sold out. But Penny got it for me, and I thank you so much, Penny and Bill, both. The brand new reissue of Black Sabbath's 1992 classic, Dehumanizer. Reissued, man. Yeah, reissued in 2019. Dude, I've been looking for this high and low. Could never find it. Finally got it, though. Super score. You're living in a time machine. Yeah, look at that. It's got Tony Iommi right there. Vinny Applesauce. Geezer Butler and the late, great Ronnie James Dio. Let's give it a moment of silence to the man on the Silver Mountain, Ronnie James Dio. We miss you, Ronnie. Awesome. But yeah, it's got a very cool gatefold. So yeah, check that out. It's got pictures of the band on both sides. It's got a cool essay and write-up. Who wrote that? Don Lawson of Metal Hammer in October of 2010. So yeah, a funny thing about this was the night when I got this vinyl, you know, brought it home, opened it up out of the shrink wrap, and I'm sitting with my girlfriend Samantha, and she's looking at this picture, and she looks at it, she goes, God, all those guys look the same. They all have like curly ass black perms and 80s porn star mustaches. And I said, babe, those are not all different people. It's the band. It's these four guys, and these four guys are the same people. They're just different pictures from the same photo shoot. We laughed our asses off over that. But yeah, she thought it was like 8 different dudes that all looked the same. That cracked me up, man. That was pretty funny. So yeah, look at this. Black Sabbath Dehumanizer reissue. Comes in a very cool kind of polyline sleeve. Very nice quality sleeve. And then you pull out the vinyl. Definitely 180, I'll tell you that much. Definitely heavyweight. Heavyweight 180 gram. And there's the center ring with Tony Iommi, Vinny Applesauce, Geezer Butler, and Ronnie James D. And then, ooh, I really like the art on that. That's very cool. Check that out. So yeah, I was very lucky to score that. Once again, thank you to Penny and Bill. And yeah, these are very nice poly-lined custom dust sleeves. So you know what? I would highly suggest, if you can find this and pick it up without it breaking your bank account, do it, dude. Black Sabbath Dehumanizer. Oh yeah, and coming up here in the next couple months, I know Rhino is reissuing Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules, dude. I have both of those OG versions on vinyl, but you know damn good and well that I'm probably going to pick up both the vinyl and the CD collections, because, dude, I love Black Sabbath, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, here we go. Another score I got up about last weekend or a couple weeks ago. Almost a damn mint copy for being as old as it is. David Lee Roth, Edelman Smile. I've been looking for this on vinyl. Couldn't find it anywhere. Everybody should own this. If you're a hard rock, heavy metal rocker like myself, dude, you gotta own some David. Diamond Dave, boy. Look at that. And this, you know, this might be my favorite David Lee Roth solo album. Honestly, it's either that or Skyscraper. I love Skyscraper because that was kind of the first David Lee Roth solo album that I really got into. Back when I was a kid, my dad had it on CD. But yeah, check that out, dude. David Lee Roth, Edelman Smile, classic. Got it for $8. And another great local record comic book shop here in Louisville, Kentucky, if you're ever in the area, called Great Escape. Very cool place. $8, and the jacket is in great condition. The record is in great condition. Couldn't have scored better. There you go. Awesome. And then my final acquisition, whatever the hell the word is, tonight. Another one that I got from Penny and Bill. Thank you very much. An album that I've talked about a couple times on this channel. It was part of my, well, it wasn't in my top 5 best of 2020, but it was one of the honorable mentions. And this is the special edition, dude. Like I said before, I love this album except for 2 tracks, the 2 shitty Post Malone songs. It's a Raid and Take What You Want or whatever, but Take What You Want is not on this, thank God. So yeah, look at that. Ozzy Osbourne's Ordinary Man, but check that out. It's the first time I've ever seen this. The logo, Ozzy Osbourne logo, and then the Ordinary Man title, they're like in kind of like metallic silver kind of foil lining. I don't know how to describe it. And there's the back, Ozzy taking a classic piss. Yeah, but look at that. See, the titles are all shiny and stuff. Very cool. This is a special edition. And it's got gatefold comes, cool snake. You know, I noticed, you know, on this album because Ozzy knew about the coronavirus and how it started with the man in China eating a bat. So yeah, Ozzy was like, fuck bats. From now on, my ass is gonna eat snakes. So on this album, he started eating snakes, which I hear that eating snakes has a lot more fiber and is better for your diet. So can you blame the guy? But yeah, I'm happy to have this. Ooh. Who wants a download card? Here you go. Get you a free digital copy of Ozzy Osbourne, Ordinary Man. There you go. First one to get it, it's yours. I don't need the download card. I have the vinyl and the CD both. Check it out. So yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, Ordinary Man, download card. And this came in, this is the special edition of it. This came in a cool silver, yeah, silver and black kind of swirl vinyl. Check that out. Very cool. Very awesome. Check it out. Love that. This album sounds really good. I've listened to it a couple times. This is not 180, but nonetheless, it still plays immaculate. Sounds immaculate. And you know, like I said, I know this album is very polarizing in the Ozzy Osbourne fandom and the heavy metal hard rock community. I know I think most people probably hate this album. I don't get it, dude. To me, it's a very good Ozzy album. And I mean, is it classic? Is it Diary of a Madman or Bark at the Moon? You know, probably not. But you know what? It's a good album, and I'm glad Ozzy's still continuing to make music. So, F it. And it came with like a cool poster, a huge poster of course, what's Ozzy doing? Better fiber, better for his diet here in 2020, 2021. Ozzy's ass is eating snakes. I mean, not Ozzy's ass. Ozzy's not shoving snakes up his anus or his rectum, but Ozzy's eating snakes. So check that out. Look. Well, hang on, my chain, my wallet chain's stuck in the chair. I'm stuck. There you go. So check it out, dude. Look. Ozzy Osbourne eating a snake. Very cool. It says Ordinary Man. And on the back, it's got all the lyrics. Hang on. Check that out. I had to stand up for this one. Look at that. Freaking cool, dude. Love it. I love that image of Ozzy's bat. So, yeah. Well, I'm confused, and I get confused easily. Ah, there it is. Got it. All right. So, yeah, guys. That is all I picked up for the last maybe month or so. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If this is your first video of mine that you've ever seen, hit the notification bell, hit the subscription button, and hit the likes. And dude, just join me on this totally most excellent journey known only as Radical Rockin' Record Reviews. Check out my band Wild Ride, official Wild Ride on Instagram, and just look up Wild Ride on Facebook, WYLDRYDE, and check out our debut EP, City Streets, and get ready for our new album, Gasoline Alley, coming at you spring or early summer of 2021. Guys, thank you all so much. You guys rule, and I will see you next time. Peace, guys.